I think everybody is familiar with this picture where CMMC, as part of the DFARS and also the FCI, has been implementing the 5 different levels of CMMC model, starting from basic all the way to advanced, where there are more than 171 practices if an organization has to be certified as an advanced level. And this gives them the level of certification where they get accreditations and credits to run the bids and also participate in some of their Department of Defense, federal contracts, and government bids. What we're seeing is that most of the organizations are trying to use these best practices. And as we see what is entailed around the different areas or categories of the CMMC model in terms of its maturity, scoring, threat modeling, risk adaptation, and how do we mitigate some of those risks. Increasingly, we have seen in the last few months that organizations are still leveraging this not just to participate or staying compliant as part of the bids or the projects that they are engaging with the government, but even using it as a hygiene technique to go beyond it. In November 2020, we saw that NIST SP 800-172 also released with the support from the center a new model which is now more streamlined, more focused on critical systems and what is absolutely relevant for the organizations to participate or even to certify themselves against the maturity model what we've seen. Some of the interesting findings, what actually led to these increased attention. We're seeing over 50% of the organizations, especially the ones directly working with the government or anything on the critical infrastructure, were breached in the last 12 months, either resulting in integrity loss, availability loss, data loss, and also most importantly, the operational disruptions that we are seeing or the outages that we have seen, similar to some of the ones like SolarWinds we noticed last year, the Florida water plant getting hacked. All of these things kind of prove what type of hygiene techniques that we need to use. How do we map it? How do we benchmark it? Also, few mandates that has been recommended, especially now that with the new critical infrastructure bill that is being directed by the government is also being adopted across the organizations for risk assessment, building those maturity model across the critical infrastructure, validating against different states of compliances and standards that are out there, taking the recommendations, even though it is not today, it is not regulated or mandated by some of the entities. Those are best practices. Some of them can be self-assessed, some of them can be engaged with third parties who have the knowledge and also the skill set to be able to do this in a cost-effective way, is helping the overall critical infrastructure adopt security models with the technology innovation that we are seeing. Now, some of the recent updates, what we also saw was that the CMMC level 3 and level 4, if you see, specifically talks about monitoring controls and also utilizing threat intelligence to block these malicious domains, not reactively once they are in the network, but mostly use of proactive techniques where we are leveraging threat hunting. We're using intelligence feeds through STIX, Taxi, and Cyber Threat Intelligence Exchange. That way, the security leaders inside the organizations can now proactively look or hunt for potential intrusions that they are not covered in their existing security controls, and they can include them before an attack can happen.